see that.
Jarla versus Casie is our 5th match of today. And you can see below the protections and the bans that happen. That Divine Shield bubble around one of the classes means that it's been protected. So for Jarla, Priest protected. On Casie's side, Warrior protected. And that'll be the deck that I'm going to be focusing on the most. His Priest has been banned away, and Jarla's Druid has been banned away. For Casie this week, I really love what they have brought to the table with this Warrior deck. It's kind of a mix of what I was talking about with Swids earlier, having the Hecklebots in there, but they also have the Archivist Elysiana. And I was able to, kind of chat with Casie a little bit about this, and it was about building the lineups and trying to find the favorable positions this week for himself and for Bunny Hopper and the rest of their practice crew. And they honestly nailed it. To see him protect Warrior in this series, I think is spelling out how he feels about Warrior versus the opposing decks he expects to face. Hecklebot being in the Warrior deck is a major kicker for Holy Wrath Paladin, and it's a major kicker in the mirror matches where Jarla does not even have an Archivist Elysian in the Warrior deck. And so while Warrior's still in play, that deck's pretty much just off the table.
Yeah, also a big deal potentially against Paladin. It's if you can find that one outer in a particular position. But I think even tech cards aside, you look at the way these picks and bans go, which I think is predictable from Casey's side. He ends up with Control Warrior against another Control Warrior, which he is enormously favored against because he has an Elysiana. Priest, which people will tell you is a favorable matchup. And the Holy Wrath Paladin, which again, with the decent build, double weapons project in there, he should feel favored against as well in a lot of spots.
This, to me, is so far the best demonstrated outcome of Conquest with a shield phase.
Just outbuilding your opponent in terms of lineups.
They don't have an option. They have to queue the Priest first. End of story. It is such good deck building. It's so good.
Who hurt you, Admirable?
No one. I'm not angry. I'm excited. This is just brilliant from their practice group this week. Like, you're not going to queue Paladin into this deck first off. If you don't have the Archivist Elysian in your Warrior deck, you don't want to queue that one. Well, I guess I'm just left with Priest at that point. Like, what the heck? That is so good. Hecklebot. Hecklebot made this possible.
Brought to you by Hecklebot.
I wish I had all 30 or whatever of Hecklebot's quotes right now so I could read them off to you in a row.
Oh, yeah. I didn't realize how many, though. I think I was streaming with you when we were like, hang on, how many things can he say? And we just looked it up, and there is legitimately dozens.
That's one of my favorite cards in the game. Yeah. It just has so many voice lines.
I must consider.
See Jarla already having what he feels is a tough position, but I am looking at a circle.
He's going in.
Well, what else would you do?
Well, ask Jarla. He's the one who thought about it for 45 seconds.
Casey's like, what the heck?
Excellent.
Yeah, they say it's favored. I guess my question is, are you supposed to play the Eternium Rover versus a Northshire on turn 1? Probably. Just not excited about it. So perhaps, I'm going to eat my words on this. Or you just go 0-2.
Yeah, so, I mean, the problem, you can set it up and engineer it all beautifully, and, you pull the marionette strings of your opponent, and they do exactly what you want them to do, and then Priest wins forehead. That just throws everything out of the window.
The thing that I'm looking at with this turn 1 Eternium Rover, you're absolutely supposed to play it. It's ridiculous that I suggested otherwise, and I want to apologize. Shield Slam being drawn, Weapons Project being drawn, they're both 2-ofs, they're both critical.
Yep. Snip Snap being drawn, not the immediate payoff, but it's still very important to have that base down.
Oh, Warpath being drawn.
Yep.
And being able to set up a turn 4, like... I'm partially ashamed that I suggested otherwise.
Quickly.
Just Casey's camera.
He just took 14 this turn while his opponent drew cards and killed his Acolyte of Pain. This is not okay.
It's Lord of the Arena's voice line time. Prepare to lose!
Is that what Lord of the Arena says?
When he attacks, I believe.
The 6'5" guy?
Is that Master Jouster?
That sounds more like it, yeah.
Oh,
I was going to say, like,
that's
that...
the Joust Divine Shield guy.
Yeah, okay. I was gonna say, that does not sound right to me, but you are way better at that stuff than I am.
Yeah, it's Master Jouster.
Okay.
Took my brain a minute to log that memory file. It was like, wait, no. Just papers being scattered everywhere in my brain. It's like, here it is, Master Jouster.
Jarla just has 22 this turn. 21? All right, never mind, 21. No big deal.
He could go in for 21, but what does that cost him?
Wait. 14, 19. Goes up to 25 until 18. Okay, right. I was just checking Beaming Psychic Inner Fire heal your opponent because that actually gains you 2 extra damage as well. Still not lethal.
Hey, I got you, friend.
Yep, that'll do it. Priest wins forehead.
Northshire Cleric. That's the big kicker to all of the bad matchups for Priest, is that Northshire Cleric can break all the rules.
Yep, not really too much else to add to that one. You can have the best laid plans of mice and men, but sometimes Northshire Cleric just ruins everything.
I don't know where you keep getting all these good sayings from, but keep them coming, because I'm stealing all of them.
Okay, sure.
Eventually, one day, I'll have something where I just use a clever saying that fits the scenario right.
I await that day with bated breath.
Let's go to a break. I'm ashamed of myself. Mostly because of the suggestion of the Eternity Rover. You're absolutely supposed to play it. Shield Slam Weapons Project. We're coming to Game 2 right after this.
Legends say powerful treasures are hidden everywhere here in Aldum.
If we hope to defeat Rafam, we'll need as many as we can get. He's already unleashed the ancient plague lords and countless monsters. Keep them distracted, Reno.
Not a problem. This plan is totally gonna work. Ain't that right, Finley?
Oh, yes! I have them right where I want them.
There is an artifact here. The name is...
The Scales of Justice. Oh, it must be really fancy.
only to be used in a time of great peril. Yes, I think this qualifies.
Hey, look, Finley! You've lured one of the Plague Lords!
Take this, fiend!
In the face! Yeah! Hey, guys! Get that treasure! We've got a Plague Lord to destroy!
Yes, please, hurry!
Not to worry, Finley. We just push this thing right here.
No, that's a trap! Watch out!
It's all good. I am phonally timed.
Gracious me!
What we actually need to do is press this. And there.
A fish. No, it's the Scales of Justice.
Oh. Ah, who wants to use it first?
Ooh, I do! Me! On second thought, maybe give it to Finley?
All you had to do is hold a rope.
Here we go, blaming the tall, ruggedly handsome guy again.
Mazahidul Islam. I go by Muzzy in game. My username, as you know, my first name is Mazahidul. It's kind of difficult to say for some people, and every time someone calls you, they're gonna have to say, "Hey, Mazahidul." That's long, and you don't want to say that. My friend gave me a nickname, like, "Hey Muzz, hey Muzzy." So I sort of just took that and, name's Muzzy. I took a look at the list of players. Some of them have been more focused on streaming, I would say, in these past few years. I've participated at the highest levels of competition that they might not have appeared in. I'm the player to beat in my group, for sure. The thing that I most look forward to about competing in Grandmasters is the thrill of the competition. It's really why I play Hearthstone. It's what I've enjoyed doing for the past 3 or 4 years, and it's what I'll continue to enjoy doing, hopefully. I think Hearthstone Instinct is definitely my greatest skill set. I think that if I took a break for a while and didn't play the game and came back to new cards, I think I could pilot a new deck fairly well, fairly quickly. People would always mention the term burnout to me. Burnout, burnout, burnout. I didn't know what it was. I would constantly play Hearthstone all the time. I definitely want to have more titles and put my name in Hearthstone history.
Our 5th and final match for the European region here at Hearthstone Grandmasters is underway. I'm Nathan, that's Admirals Mora, joined by Simon Sotto-Welch. And right now, Jarla is off to a 1-0 lead. Got a quick win with Priest versus Warrior. And now we're going into a Warrior Mirror match with a lot of factors in play for this one. 2 things to majorly consider. Sotto, walk me through them.
Is there really 2? Is there really 2? Can we not just focus on one?
Okay, we'll do the one then.
There's an Elysiana on one side of this matchup, and it's Control Warrior versus Control Warrior. It's not like a Bomb Warrior without an Elysiana that can just be aggressive and run over the other one. This is going to go late game, and Casie is going to have the Elysiana, and Jarla is not. So we are actually quite confused as to why Jarla is queuing the Warrior in this series at all.
Yes, I want to prompt those out there who love to give me criticism and feedbacks on their thoughts to please walk me through this one. I can kind of see where some stuff is going for, but I'm just not seeing a good matchup on across the board with Jarla's Control Warrior deck. So honestly, I just don't know.
Right.
It seems like this is the worst deck of the Paladin and Druid remaining. I'm sorry, Druid's banned away. Excuse me, of the Paladin. Yeah, I'd still go with Paladin.
Yep.
You'll scam some wins with that one. It's pretty tough to scam some wins with Warrior.
Job's done.
Casie hero powered on 3 and then shield blocked on 4?
Not unreasonable. I think a lot of times, like, it's okay to just like use the hero power and like rep a shield slam or something, or rep a different hand rage and then shield block. Like it doesn't really matter in the grand scheme of panouts because he's not going to play anything.
Right.
And so for the pace of play and what Jarla likes to do, just mixing it up a bit like that, I think can throw a wrench into some of Jarla's thought process later on.
Okay.
It's kind of stuff I do with Warrior sometimes.
Just
Warrior
because
mirror
the
matches.
deck's so boring, you have to amuse yourself sometimes?
No, just like to confuse people.
Okay.
I love Warrior, and you know that.
Yep. And I will never stop making fun of you for it.
Bully.
Yeah, sometimes.
No tomb can hold me.
Both players now with Boom.
Light the fuses.
Not as long as the series as you might expect, though. Jarla does not have Archivist Elysiana. Probably mentioned that 3 or 4 more times throughout this for those of you joining us amidst the match. Want to keep you updated, but you can always stay updated with the decks yourself at playhearthstone.com/esports.
Expertly done. Did that sound sarcastic?
Everything you say sounds sarcastic.
Yeah, it's kind of the problem. I was checking.
Oh yeah, that's the problem.
It was very earnest.
How's that for
That was
sarcasm?
high quality broadcasting. Damn it, that also sounded sarcastic. All right, I give up.
No. It was high quality broadcasting. Wow, great turn for our Megadillo. Just need a Sottle translator.
Yeah.
You know that is this art Twitter?
Yes.
It's is this sarcasm? It just responds to all of your tweets.
What now?
I see exactly one kicker in the matchup. Jarla has 2 copies of Omega Assembly, and Casie has 0.
All right. All right, I'm interested. I would suggest that maybe that might have a bigger impact if, like, Jarla could perhaps get the Dr. Boom advantage. Like, he finds the boom, Casie doesn't, and then he has all this extra gas that Casie doesn't have to keep pushing over the line. Not sure if the extra resources are going to be enough when both players have boom locked and loaded already, especially with the quality of that Armadillo that Casie had. Casey's just playing threats. He's the fatigue deck. He's just playing big boys.
I think it's a good time to play him.
Yep.
When you're ahead, get more ahead.
Yep.
You know, from a paper perspective, the game is closed, and it's pretty much solved. So when Casie finds himself ahead, compound that issue, force Jarla into a bad spot where he's got to be the one trying to fight from behind. That does not work well for him. Casie just already has grabbed the card. Nice setup from Casie to force the trade. Opens up some damage.
I'm so glad.
Two copies of Plague of Wrath in Jarla's deck as well. Does not have the extra Whirlwind that sometimes goes alongside it.
Yeah, I'm a bit interested in this turn. I think this is better than the Super Collider. A, I don't really want to take this much damage. B, I'd really like to have some annoying 1/1s at play.
Are the annoying 1/1s a big deal when your opponent has annoying 1/1 hero power coming right back at you?
Keeps the annoying 1/1s from plaguing your side.
What if you roll the annoying 1/1 killer next turn? Did you ever think about that?
It's a delicate balance. The water dance. It's not one of hacking and hammering.
Five 10 pulls a 1/3. It's just an insane tempo card in that position. Here goes Omega Assembly number 1 for Jarla. But this is not the card it used to be. And there you see the exact demonstration of that.
Just thinking about the 5/10 Hecklebot, and I was like, Dr. Boom plus Hecklebot equals duel? A Paladin card?
Sure.
Pulls a minion from your opponent's deck and then they fight.
Yeah, alright, fair enough. Ah, good old Harvey P. Golem.
What is my purpose?
Pretty stark contrast to the normal game that we see from Jarla as well, where he's playing this one pretty quickly. He normally takes his time. I'd say by comparison to what he normally does, yes.
I feel like he's roped the last 3 turns before this one. I think Casie is doing God's work in keeping us sane right now. You know what, Twitch chat? Everyone, send Casie a heart on Twitter for playing this game quickly.
Whoa, Jarla didn't rope that last turn.
No, but
send Casie a heart, but
prior to that turn, I think he roped the last 3 turns.
The ultimate kicker.
No! No! Why do we have to talk?
How else is he gonna win, man?
Why do we have to talk about this?
How else is he gonna win?
No, okay. I fully agree. It's his only option in that position. I'm just annoyed that we have to go down this rabbit hole.
Let's go! Everyone, send a Gatya to Sottle on Twitter and annoy him.
What?
Heart to Casie, Gatya to Sottle.
Sure. As long as the heart to Casie is part of the equation. If you just send Gotya to me, and I'm going to check your account, and if there's not a heart, we're going to have some issues.
Make him check it. Collectively get together, decide one person that doesn't send Casie a heart, but sends Sottle a Gatya. And then 3 years from now, point it out.
3 years? Dude, I mean, you're playing around, but you actually have no idea how much that would annoy me if it actually happened.
Oh, it'd be the worst.
Yeah.
That's why I said 3 years.
Yeah.
After 3 years, you'd be like, that happened way too long ago.
Yeah.
Jarla's played a ton of Control Warrior lately, too, I will say. He's been playing a ton on ladder, and one of the decks he's mostly experimented with has been Control Warrior without Archivist Elysiana. I had a long, grueling battle with him myself, and then at the end of the game, I was like, oh my gosh, he set up this Elysiana turn so brilliantly, and I was sweating it, and I was under pressure, and I was like, I got to play Elysiana. Just instantaneously conceded, and I was like, oh, you just don't have it, do you? And he's like, no. I was like, well, that was anticlimactic.
I felt like, is Jarla on your friends list? Because I feel like in that situation, when two friends queue into each other on ladder with Control Warrior, you should just throw the "Do you have Elysiana" in your deck out, and then like be done with it.
He was after that game.
Okay.
Yeah.
Good. So let's actually start talking about this Mechathune win condition, because actually now that those copies of Mega Assembly that Jarla plays are actually kind of a detriment to it, because that's now potentially a ton of mana that he needs to spend before that Mechathune can become active. Secondly, there is always an out that you can fish for, where if you discover a bomb card, you can hold on to that bomb card, and then as soon as Jarla plays his Mechathune, you can shuffle the bomb into your opponent's deck, kill the Mechathune. There is a card then in your opponent's deck. It doesn't work. Whether or not you plan for that out when you are Casie, maybe you do, because the longer this game goes on, you know your opponent's going to potentially be looking for a Mechathune win condition because it's about all they've got, and there's just this mystery mech being held in their hand turn after turn after turn after turn.
And I think that's really the kicker for it, right, is that mystery mech. Like, Casie not having Omega Assembly in the deck means it's harder to hunt down a bomb card.
Very true.
That's going to be the case.
Yep.
It means that in the event that you see something weird like a Galvanizer, that containing the armor total from Jarla can be a real thing. It means that perhaps not loading up too many minions in play so that Brawl is tougher to get out of your hand, a very real thing. And so for Jarla, the fact that he's expending all these mechs from Omega Assembly so aggressively, and then that one is hanging out in hand,
Yep.
it's a tough call to make, it's a tough read to make, but at a certain point you do start to wonder. And so for Casie, again, he plays this largely by muscle memory and moving through the motions, experience, etc. Is that a thought that actively occurs to you? How often have you run into that circumstance? If you've run into that circumstance.
Oh, this is a lot of cards that need spending, Admirable.
It is, but honestly, when I've not played Elysiana, this is the only way I've won the match.
Yeah. I feel like the amount of Warrior Mirrors you must have played, you must have just beaten them up at least once.
Okay,
It does occasionally happen. It usually involves Snip Snap early.
Yeah.
If that's going to be the case. And admittedly, I haven't played quite as many Warrior Mirrors since the recent expansion.
Okay.
It's been a little bit less frequent out there on the ladders.
Face me, you overgrown oak.
It's a pretty nice pull to see, honestly. Means it's not getting attached.
Is there a Whirlwind in Casey's deck? There isn't. There's only one Plague of Wrath, okay. Oh, it's just occurring to me suddenly that like Hecklebot Whirlwind Plague of Wrath was actually a pretty effective thing you could do in a lot of matchups.
I didn't really think about that. It does seem pretty good.
Oh. I think in a lot of the spots that Casey's finding himself in, he just rather have the 3-8 taunt. Or the 5-10 taunt, as it was previously. I didn't see. Did Jarla just pick the cheapest option?
He took a Nightmare Amalgam over Bronze Gatekeeper and unpowered whatever the 2/4 is.
So yeah, pretty much. Highest quality card that was also the cheapest.
This would be a good time for a master plan.
Has the beatdown commenced, though? Does feel like Jarla's hand quality is just very high as well. Like a Wrath expended from Casey's side. That opens up Boom Reaver.
Despair. Destruction.
All right, pretty solid outcome. Not a single delivery drone, I believe, for Casie right now, so we don't even get to see the drama of that Clockwork Goblin being offered. Elysiana itself, of course, is another avenue that some bomb cards could be handed over.
Yeah, this is a matchup where the mechanism of Elysiana Shield Slam I don't think is as important.
Nope.
Your opponent's missing their own Elysiana, so you are free to take some ticks of fatigue before that gets set up. Just requires your opponent to have a single turn of stumble. Either you're ahead or they stumble. It's quite easy to set up by comparison. I'm starting to get worried because I don't think Casie has any idea how badly he needs a bomb card right now.
Nope. I mean, Jarla, for his part, needs to start not having cards in his hand because, you know, fatigue is a real thing that still adds up.
Yes.
So if he can't start dumping his hand pretty soon, he's going to be taking tick 4, 5, 6, 7 of fatigue by the time he's actually able to get this Mechathune dead.
And honestly, one of the big problems is still just going to be expending Brawl. Like, it's a tough thing to do in the matchup unless you're losing. And his role in the game is not to be losing, it's to be ahead. You don't have Elysiana. So the moment that he uses a Brawl in a very unconventional looking spot, that's going to tip the scales immensely into Casie going, well, hang on a second, that's just got to be a Mechathune.
Yep.
Why would you just spend a Brawl for no reason? I think that respect is definitely there on both sides of this equation, where if either Casie or Jarla was to make that kind of choice, they're keen enough to spot that.
Right now, it's Jarla that's getting all of these delivery drones.
See Casie fighting tooth and nail to hang on to the shield slam, important resources, what have you. Yeah, it's tough to get Harrison out of your hand, too. I mean, like, you got to empty your deck, but you got to empty the cards first.
Yep, it doesn't really change the clock, right? Like, a lot of people will probably be looking at this and going, whoa, that's sick. He just drew Harrison. He's trying to Mechathune. That empties his deck. It doesn't change how long it takes for you to spend all of those cards that you draw.
That's really the key to it, is that you're going to have, you know, in the neighborhood of 25 to 40 mana to spend.
The upside is that you could potentially just play Harrison Jones and burn some cards. That helps you spend cards.
Galaxy Brain.
Again, then we're in that ridiculous-looking territory where you give the clear read over to your opponent about what's going on, because that play would just look so stupid from the other side.
Yeah, perhaps they interpret that as just pressure, though.
Maybe. Maybe.
Two time. Jarla's going to have a very healthy left total to work through this fatigue, though.
Yes, he is. Yep, every point of armor is very, very relevant as well.
Job done.
To give him that extra time that he might need. But the real kicker is going to be whether he can spend his cards quickly enough and whether Casie can figure out in time and be presented the option to play around this. Ways to play around it range from not having minions in play, so Brawl can't be cast. Hoping Jarla messes up and has some card stuck in his hand that you can identify that he can't use. And finding some way to discover yourself a bomb card. Because right now, Jarla has no way to kill his own Mechathune on the turn it's played. He just has to drop a Mechathune. Which means, again, if you're just joining us, if you can shuffle a bomb card into your opponent's deck and then kill their Mechathune immediately, that is game over, and not in the way that the Mechathune player was hoping for.
Other thing, too, is you have to empty your hand. You have to get set up for that Mechathune while you're going to be in fatigue. You have to spend so much mana.
Yep.
So the fact that Jarla has 2 shield slams left, what that means is once he's in fatigue and trying to get to that point, like the Mechathune survives for a turn or have a shield slam or you have a galvanizer discovered, you have to have the armor too. These are all extremely difficult things. And so I think he's found a way to disguise that first brawl where he's like, I need to take a risk and try to get ahead.
Disguise the Harrison Jones as well. Both of those were the problematic cards we were talking about. We're like, well, how does he cast these cards without giving over to Casie what the game plan is right now?
Still no delivery drones found for Casie.
Not a single one.
For Casie, I have to believe that there is interest in using Archivist Elysiana pretty soon. You're going to have an opening for it. You have the 7 armor now.
Okay, then.
How much do the last 2 cards in your deck matter? Well, not too much.
Okay, then.
I think Jarla is struggling to find a way to disguise pressure whatsoever. So it's set Super Collider.
Oh, I love that fuse thing.
And I think this is the opening for Casie to drop Elysiana.
I think Jarla right now is holding on to minions like that Town Crier, just so he can potentially play multiple cheap things and brawl in the same turn if he absolutely needs to. If Casie catches on to the situation, he needs to be able to play things himself. Those micro bots are very helpful in letting him do that as well.
And while Casie, I believe, would take a bomb card from Elysiana just due to the strength of it.
Yep.
He does not know how desperately he needs one right now.
Yeah, that's like the hidden silver lining for Casie right now is that if Sephorian Bomber or Wrench Caliber or Clockwork Goblin shows up, he's just going to take them because they're fantastic when your opponent's deck is empty. The problem then is if he draws them, he's most likely just going to play them. Unless he catches on to what's going on. He may have already and just not shown it. We don't know.
It's possible. I think that the next catch-on point that he has is if Jarla uses shield block.
Well, yes.
So that's a problem for Jarla. Is he needs to, I think, try to find the opportunity to do that as late as possible.
Sure.
That's difficult. The Brawl gets disguised this turn. The Warpath and Plague of Wrath, very natural.
Yep.
Shield Slam, very natural. That shield block, extremely
alarm
unnatural.
bell.
And for Casie, he has seen every
would be a
random
good
piece
time
of
for a
everything
master
expended
plan.
except that one mech.
Yep.
So for Casie, I think a pressure plan is very real as well.
Oh, I love that fuse thing.
Force your opponent deep into fatigue with the time they try to go for.
Yeah,
Beckathune,
currently Jarla is dying on the 9th tick of fatigue, I think, right? 9 is 45.
Yeah, first block of 5 fatigue is 15 damage. The second block is 25, I believe. Yeah, that shield block, I think.
He knows, yeah.
Casie now
Yeah,
knows.
Casie knows. You saw that little head shake. He knows what the situation is now. So he needs to find
Story deserves a new ending.
answers. Bomb cards.
Don't take Harbinger Celestia.
think-
That offers a trade-in opportunity from the Beckathune side.
I
You
think
play
he
it.
did take Harbinger Celestia. It looked that way. Okay, it's not funny. Serious business.
I don't know. I thought it was pretty funny.
It was pretty funny, yeah. Not there.
Delivery drone. That's all Casie wants to see. Every turn, delivery drone. Delivery
There it
drone.
is.
Now.
There it is.
Now you're thinking Clockwork Goblin, Clockwork Goblin, Clockwork Goblin. I mean, Jarla's approaching. He seriously is going to have an opportunity to do this.
Yep. Yep, Harbinger Celestia.
That offers Beckathune a trade target if you play the Harbinger.
This would be a good time for a master plan.
Honestly, none of those cards were relevant.
Nope. The nerf to discover means that Casie finds Clockwork Goblin less often, Wrench Caliber less often, Sephorian Bomber, weirdly, more often, but nowhere near approaching the lack of frequency that he's now getting the other cards with. And that same thing rings true for that delivery drone hero power as well. There are so many less Clockwork Goblins in this hero power than there used to be. Nope. Still a good outcome. Still gets pressure off it. Sticky minion.
My goodness, it's happening.
I think Casie is getting Mechathuned. This turn cannot be delivery drone again. He needs the one immediately after this to be right back to delivery drone again.
For Jarla, Warpath, Plague of Wrath, Warpath again. Yeah, Casie he absolutely knows. He is finding it somewhere deep in his head to convince himself that's not the case. You want the security and the faith right now. It does not exist. With the way that Jarla's played this, there is one card that can possibly be.
Casie just mouses over the Harbinger Celestia in his hand. What is that thing doing?
This would be a good time for a master plan. Oh, I love that fuse thing.
Jarla's looking for every possibility.
What?
He wants the minions to
He wants
trade
the
into.
minions in play so he can trade his Mechathune. He counted fatigue, and he's not just winning with a 10-10 hitting his opponent in the face. I find that hard to believe. Interesting. Because now this pressure coming back at you actually becomes relevant as well.
I would think that the idea is that if Casie discovered a bomb card...
Does Casie not... Sorry, does Casie not Cruel Taskmaster there to push more damage?
I don't think he wants a thing in play for the Mechathune to trade into faster.
I guess it rushes out into it on the following turn. Yeah, sure.
I think that from Jarla's perspective, this said, you know what, if he's got a bomb card, I need to get this dead sooner rather than later. The Mechathune, that is.
Yeah.
From Casey's perspective,
okay, no,
that's
okay. Yes, that is a really, really good point. Okay.
Oh, delivery drone.
Oh my
For
goodness.
Jarla, there's no question.
Oh my goodness.
Casie sees it now. He already knew it, but he sees it now.
Clockwork Goblin for the game.
Not.
No.
So now, what can you get from Evil Cable Rat that would change the circumstance?
Well, it starts with Ethereal Lackey, I can tell you that much. But what warrior spells interact with this? Is there an Evolve Lackey that outcome that changes anything?
You could evolve into smaller stuff off the Sipsnap minion.
Well, I think he's going to go face and then shield slam his own 3/3 to take that power off the board, right? Does that matter?
It might. I don't know. It's about finding the way to deal the most damage, while at the same time mitigating Jarla's progress towards this. Fatigue hit for 5.
Every time this hero power rolls, Jarla can find a zap with it as well.
Zap is found.
Casie is absolutely livid. Without that zap, he can trade off these minions.
This is an inverse brawl. You need the Mechathune to live.
Yep. That is a good spot. So then again, do you shield slam your own minion to increase the chances of your opponent's minion winning? I'm gauging from Casey's reaction, this has not gone well for him. It has not.
Unreal. Unreal.
What a ridiculous game of Hearthstone. I have spent so long in so many Warrior Mirrors saying that never happened, Admirable.
I know you have, Sottle.
It just happened. I was wrong.
For the first time today, because I've been wrong a lot today. Oh, it makes it all better that it's the final moment, so now everyone can forget all the things I was wrong about and focus solely on the one that you were.
How much my personal ego and pride just wanted to see that Clockwork Goblin appear at the end. Like, I just wanted it so badly.
So I see Casie taking the Harbinger now in hindsight, figuring it out. So taking the Harbinger means that he can pressure down the Mechathun in that spot, and then when the Mechathun is isolated, you get to play a 5/6 stealthed minion.
Oh, I see.
To push that damage.
Right. Yeah, he just waits for it to happen, and then he's just a 5-mana 5/6.
So for Casie in that situation, let's just say, for instance, he Shield Slam his own minion. Shield Slam your own minion. Brawl, 33%. You push some damage. Harbinger Celestia. Roll a zap or something. I don't know how fatigue worked out exactly. It would have been 6 and 7 where the fatigue hits, so to 19 and 12.
Yeah.
Plus 5 more. Yeah, that would have been lethal.
Yeah. And I think that zap outcome really did change a lot of the options for Casie, because I was considering like Shield Slam on the 4/3, right, to spread the board out so there wasn't a trade that could hit 3. He'd have to hit 1 or 2. That was the maximum he can do. But again, if that zap happens, that doesn't change the equation. I think in the position where the zap did come out, Casey's way of playing it made some more sense. His picks looked crazy off the Elysiana, but you're saying there was some logic behind them, which there absolutely was. But at the end of the day, he ran super below average on the amount of delivery drones that he picked up there as well, only getting them right at the end, which may have been a blessing because maybe he didn't know what the situation of the game was up until then when we saw the Harrison and the shield block get used. But yeah, what a game. It happens. Apparently, it's possible. Who knew?
It's possible. Let's talk to the man himself. Jarla, can you hear us?
Hello, guys.
Hello, and congratulations on this win. What a spectacular way to cap off the day. I want to talk to you about the Warrior game, first and foremost. It looked like that you were trying to disguise the fact that you might have had a Mechathun in hand, and I'm curious, what are some of the factors that were rolling into that, and how soon do you think Casie had figured it out? Because from our perspective, it looked like he had sniffed it out for quite some time.
Yeah, I think he could have the read on Mechathun because the way I started playing the game, like dumping cards, like really early. So I think he could have the read. I maybe went for like a lot of generation cards there. Maybe it was better to just go for assembly for 2 cards because in the end, I think I maybe like delayed my Mechathun for maybe 1 turn or something. So yeah, it got kind of messy in the end. But yeah, I think I needed the Zap for the W there. Otherwise, I think I would die in fatigue. Also, it was like my only chance to win the matchup because I'm not playing Elysiana this week. And Casie protected Warriors, so yeah, that's basically it.
So with that in mind, like that's basically what we've been talking about this whole series, that it felt like Casie had the edge in the way that he'd built the decks and the pick and bans happened. And then we were kind of confused that you even played Warrior in this series at all. We thought that would be the deck that you would just try not to get a win with. Like, what was the thinking in queuing Warrior in the first place?
Basically, like, when I won with Priest, after that, like, my Paladin is maybe even worse than this Warrior against that because he's playing double Weapons Project, Harrison, double Rover, and all the anti-Paladin cards. So I just went with the Warrior expecting to lose, and then the game 3 decide the series most of the times. But yeah, I got kind of lucky, I guess, and went with 2-0 there.
Well, we're glad you did get lucky because it was incredibly fun to watch, at least.
Yeah, I mean, it was a spectacular way to finish the series in this one. So I guess what was I going to talk about after this? What? It's the second time today I've forgotten the question. Top of the standings.
Again? That's what you forgot last time.
Yes, and that's exactly what I forgot this time too. So now you actually stand at the top of Division B with Bunny Hopper again. Kind of looking at these matches in the way that they're panning out. Is there anyone you're rooting for or against? That's coming up here in Grandmasters? Like, how important is the number 1 seed to you versus just making the playoff in general?
I I just want to make the playoffs, but if it will be from the first seed, it would be great. But other than that I'm rooting for Fino. I helped him this week with Warrior List, and I want him to get the Ws this week. Also, he's playing against Bunny, so if he wins, I will be like secured at the first place.
And so I also want to take this time to talk about just you personally and some of the things that have been going on with you. I've been seeing you play a ton of ladder. You were going for a #1 spot claimed in Europe and Americas at the same time. And I also saw you got partnered on Twitch recently, which was a very big deal to you. So talk to me about that and where people can find your channel.
Yeah, so I started streaming like 1 month ago at Twitch TV/YarlaHS, and yeah, I was really happy to get partnership. And yeah, I'm basically just playing ladder, going for top ranks on both servers. I'm currently rank 1 on EU and like top 50 on NA or something. So yeah, just tune in when I'm online, and maybe you can learn something from me or whatever. Just chill out.
Yeah, I mean, I'm always happy to watch the professional stream. I always learn something and watch them, and you all have different perspectives, and it's super cool. Jarla, congratulations on your win. This is a big one for you as you stand atop next to Bunny Hopper, and I'm looking forward to seeing your next match.
Thank you. See ya, guys.